Think. Welcome to another episode of Soggy Popcorn. Here with me, he's back across the country. He's back across the world now.
The other side of the country. Yes, I am back in Asia, in Malaysia at the moment. So yeah, I was in London for a few weeks, but back having to figure out these time zone differences now.
Are you all like, is your body clock back to normal now then?
Yeah, it took a few days to get used to it. Going back to Europe is a lot easier because then you can kind of get up early and ready to go. But coming back east, that's a motherfucker because that's when you can't get to sleep during the night and you wake up and you're groggy all day. So yeah, I'm all right now. And then the last few days, there was actually massive protests in the city, like huge, like half 500,000 people. Protesting against corruption and basically an all-round awful government that they've got going here, and a corrupt prime minister who's stolen loads of money from the public, like $700 million or something crazy. So yeah, there's a lot of problems at the moment in this country. So there's a huge protest at the weekend, which is quite cool actually. They even show like outdoor cinema screenings and stuff. It was really well organized. It wasn't like violent at all. It was quite peaceful. It had more of like a festival or carnival atmosphere. Just hundreds of thousands of people crowding around, or wearing like yellow t-shirts to kind of symbolize what they're trying to do. And and they had like film screenings outside and stuff, talking about playing. I think they were screening like local films and maybe films about society and government and stuff. So it's quite cool actually, because people here in general are quite apathetic. They tend to just get on with their lives and let the government just kind of screw them over. So every now and then they'll come together, like all the different races here, because it's so mixed, and then have a big kind of huge rally against the government and say, fuck you, we're not going to just take it anymore. So hopefully it'll make a difference. But it's quite an interesting weekend anyway. It was in the news, like the world news and stuff, some BBC and the Guardian and stuff as well. So they got the attention they deserve. So hopefully good things will happen from it.
Good. Well, I'm going to be honest. I didn't see any of it.
Yeah, well, I think you probably have to dig deep in the BBC website to find
it. And also, I've just been hiding in the corner, shaking.
Really, really the last week.
Just in the last week. But that's what I was going to say. Is that I've watched nothing. The only thing I have watched, which I'll touch upon.
What was the best way to start off a movie podcast? Yeah. I have watched nothing. We should call this I've watched nothing.
I'm going to just bullshit for the next however long and pretend like I've seen films. No, I finished, and it's not films, but I finished Sons of Anarchy, which was...
okay, done, the whole thing.
The whole thing, which is a really really big deal. Yeah, that's it. They're not making it anymore. And I was talking to someone about it the other day, so like I've heard it's really shit, and I'm like, it is a bit shit. It is a bit shit. But the thing is, it's like it's never boring. It's like a soap opera. It's just fucking ridiculous, and it was a bit sad, like when it came to an end, because it's like it's one of those things that you always just think is there. Do you know what I mean? Like you think it's never really going to end. But I would.
Was it a satisfying end? Did you feel that they wrapped up the characters and stuff like? Is it ended done, or did it open? Or did they kind of leave anything open to come back or spin off or anything like that?
No, they didn't leave anything open. I mean, it was like they went a bit heavy-handed with like symbolism and stuff, like Christianity, because it's like it's all supposed to be like Hamlet, basically, which is no big secret.
Okay.
But that's like a massive influence. So it was really good, but it's not for everyone. But yeah, it's a bit cheesy, and that's pretty much. I mean, like I saw other little bits. I don't know if we talked about this. Hot Tub Time Machine 2.
No, I didn't know you'd watched that yet. Did you?
You've seen that, right?
No, I haven't seen it. I saw the original.
Oh.
I've watched like when you have those, I don't know, Sunday afternoons flicking through the internet for something to watch, and 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 you're like, okay, right. Google best comedies 2015 and try and find something, you know what I mean, something funny to watch, and then watch the trailers of all these kind of really mediocre comedies where you're like, oh god, I really don't want to watch it, but I might. So I've watched the trailer a few times, and I just haven't brought myself to watch it. But is it worth it at all?
It's so bad. It's really bad.
Yeah, I bet. Really.
It was actually like I was watching it going, why is this even here? Why does this exist?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was absolutely terrible. I mean, essentially, they just go. It carries on from the first film, but without John Cusack, and it just goes forward in the future, and they're trying to solve. Like something happens near the beginning, and they're trying to find the person who did it, and it's got the guy from Parks and Rec. What's his name? The little guy who looks weird. I can't remember his name.
I don't know. I don't really watch it.
You'd recognise his face, and it's got the girl from Community as well. Actually, funny enough.
And the little fat guy, the little with glasses and stuff. That guy, he was in the original.
Yeah, he's in it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you mean somebody else is in it?
Yeah, somebody else. Sorry.
Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
That guy's not even in Parks and Rec.
No, he's not. But it's the guy who goes out with the Amy Poehler character. Fuck, I can't remember his name. Anyway, whatever. Okay. He's awful. He's terrible. He's plays exactly the same character. I don't like him in Parks and Rec either. And he's in it, and I hate him. And he's one of the big things about it. And it's got Adam Scott. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, the guy who was in Walter Mitty and played the dickhead boss in
yeah, I never saw that.
Anyway. Oh, okay, yeah. He's Ben Stiller's like knob corporate boss who comes in to change everything. That's him.
Oh, yeah, I did see that. Oh my god, that was terrible as well. But he's looking for Sean Penn or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, he's the boss. Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah. Like literally, I just watched it. Waste of time.
Okay, so he's even more. He does tend to play annoying characters, doesn't he? So
yeah,
is he just as annoying in that then?
Yeah. Okay. Pretty spot on. I don't know. There's just like they go on like this weird fake game show, like presented by Christian Slater, and you're like, even in the future, this doesn't exist. Like the thing with Hot Dog Time Machine, even though it was stupid, it went back to the 80s and took the piss out of the 80s. And there was but with this new one, it's like I don't think any of this stuff would happen. I don't know. It's really weird. I just didn't like it. I did see Get Hard as well, actually.
Oh, you saw it finally. That's It's not great,
even though you said it was terrible. I was actually, I actually did. It was pretty bad, but there were some bits I was like, that's actually really funny. Just general Will Ferrell kind of stupidity.
There's the odd, but it's so like, you see what I mean about thingy. What's his name again? Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart.
Kevin Smith.
Kevin Will Smith. Will Smith's son, Kevin Hart. How like he's obviously got a bit. Well, they've both got too much free reign to improvise, and it just doesn't work. There's something. I mean, Kevin Hart is pretty much the biggest stand-up comedian at the moment. He's like even like bigger than Louis C.K. in terms of sales, in terms of ridiculous numbers, and box office, whatever. But he just can't seem to get it right with films. You know, he just doesn't seem to. It doesn't seem to click. And with this, the scene I hated the most is when he set up the fake yard, like prison yard, in a tennis court or whatever, and he's pretending to be 2 or 3 different characters. Like, you're gonna have to put up with this prison, and then like, I'm Jay Kwan, and I'm gonna fuck you up, and no, don't touch him, he's mine. You know, when he's doing that, and that really, really like. Oh, it really annoyed me. It really irritated me. You can tell he's just improvising, and he's like, I've got this. I'm gonna pretend to be a few characters, and I don't know. It felt like even Will Smith is probably standing there thinking, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Will Smith.
Yeah, exactly. But there were just points in it where I just thought, "Oh yeah, Will Smith just watching at home, son. What are you doing?"
Even Will Smith is standing there. What are you doing?
Just being gay.
Exactly.
But So Will Ferrell. I don't know, and I just felt like it was. I don't know. There were just too many gay jokes that just are not funny anymore.
The fucking the guy snob in guys in Veep or whatever.
I
was just like, this is I mean, it was all stupid, but I don't know, some Will Ferrell bits. I was like, oh man, why is he doing stuff like this? But it just really needs to find like a really, I don't know, like decent film, like Anchorman again, where.
But he did do Anchorman again, and it just didn't work. I mean, he's been doing the same thing for so long, and I don't know. He's he's still funny, but he just isn't getting the right roles, and he's just there's nothing. It's not really working anymore, is it?
No, it's weird. It's a shame.
I wonder if he's going to be in Zoolander 2, isn't he?
Probably.
I wonder. I bet if he's back in it, he'll have even bigger role as that Mugabe or whatever it was.
No, I was thinking that. I was like, what was his name in that? Mugabe. And I was like, no, that's
yeah, something like that.
Zimbabwean president or whatever.
Yeah, I think there's something like that. But it was, but even he was great in that. So I don't know. Maybe they'll try and bring him back, but it could easily turn out to be an Anchorman 2 scenario where they just wrote it in 10 minutes and tried to get all their mates involved, and it's just going to be a complete mess. So
I think it will be. I think it's going to be really depressing.
Yeah, most probably. Yeah, it will be. Yeah. Is there anything else you've seen? Because
there's the only other one thing I saw, which is just some shit film. Well, it wasn't that shit actually, but a film on Netflix called Coherence.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, which was a good concept, and I really liked the ending actually.
Yeah. What did you think as a whole? Was like how it was how they pulled it off, considering it was so low budget and like very quickly put together. I thought it was all right. I thought it was quite impressive anyway, considering.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. I mean, I'd probably say it's maybe my Netflix pick of the week, was because I didn't have any expectation for it. I was just like, oh, what the fuck's this? It looks like a Twilight Zone episode. And I like the idea that it's like traveling these dimensions, and then I don't know, just finding out all these hidden secrets, and it's a very simple idea, but yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I did actually quite like it.
I enjoyed it. I liked the way it was. It was actually, who directed it? It was I don't know. I've forgotten now who directed it. But what he pretty much did was invite his actor mates around to his house, right? And he gave them kind of prompts and a few clues as to where the story was going to go. But a lot of the parts of the film where they were finding objects and learning more about the different alternative dimensions, he'd planted those, and they were having to just act off the cuff, which I quite liked actually. I thought that worked well. But the actors were strong enough to be able to put it together.
Yeah.
James Ward Burkitt.
Burkitt?
He's an actor. I think was he an actor turned director, something like that. Maybe not. Oh no, that was it. Yeah, he directed Rango, of all things. That was it. Yeah, it was weird. Yeah, and then he put this thing together himself, so he kind of planted all these things and just gave people these little prompts and gave them outlines for their characters and just let them kind of go, which I liked. So I thought he just explored where it was going to go and see how the characters developed and how they interacted with each other. So I thought it was good because it could have turned into a complete mess. It could have been really like the layers may not have worked as well as they did, and it could have just unraveled with the actors just not knowing where the hell they're supposed to be going. But I think he did really well at piecing it all together. And I just afterwards, when I read that's how he made the film over like a weekend of shooting, literally at a dinner party with inviting his actor friends, just imagine having to edit that all together into something coherent.
Yeah,
because man, he must have just shot so much of just like people talking, improvise. Okay, let's chuck this object in and pretend that maybe there's an alternate universe happening just down the road, and having to put that all together and make it consistent, which would be fucking hard.
Yeah, it'd be really tough. I mean, for people that don't know, it's basically about a group of friends go to have a dinner party, and then there's this weird like cosmic thing going on that night, and they go out and venture, and some people come back, some don't, some come back later, and all this. It starts getting really confusing about who's what, and basically it's all to do with different dimensions and things like that. But I mean, it was when it got near the end, like because you're with this woman for the majority of it anyway.
Yeah.
I really felt like that panic near the end, where it's like, I have no idea where the fuck I'm supposed to be, kind of thing. Like, and you're really feeling for it, like this isn't the right place. I don't know. It was.
Yeah, I know what you mean, and also the way that you suddenly realize that they've all been jumbled up into the different parallel dimensions. Like one guy isn't the original guy who started out with her, and then the other guy has changed, and then you by the end you don't know who is where. So I quite like that, but I know it's like that kind of panic of, is this where I belong, or does it even matter where I belong, or is this one a better version anyway? Or what? And I like the way that he could have easily made a parallel universe where everybody's the same but they don't have ears and they're kind of weird, or they speak a weird alien language, or their skin is different color. You know, like a real like Twilight Zone B movie premise.
Yeah.
But they're all very similar. But you didn't really. The only things that really changed were the people's reactions to the situation and motivation. So like some of them may have reacted in a violent way. Some of them may have broken down. Some of them may have just ignored what the fuck was going on around them, or some of them may have explored and tried to figure out what the hell was happening. So I like that, the way it wasn't like there were subtle differences. The end for me got a little bit Hollywood the last 5-10 minutes, but I thought at least it was a clean ending, because I don't know how else you would have ended something like that. So and I like the way, like, I thought it was, and just quickly how, like you said, how it's all through the perspective of one person at least, so you've got that coherence going through, that consistency, because otherwise it would have been pretty hard to follow.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's well with the subtle differences as well. That kind of, I think that really added to the idea of just unease, like not as much like horror or being scared, but just feeling like you're in a room with people that you've seen forever, but that aren't actually the people. It's like, what is that thing where people it's like when people's minds break down or whatever, and they don't recognize
Alzheimer's.
Yeah, like Alzheimer's or something like that. Like the idea of like, who is this person? And I don't know, it's weird, but that just uneasy feeling of being like, well, they should be exactly the same, but the idea that this is actually someone else, it's kind of a head fuck. But it was, I quite enjoyed it in a weird way.
Yeah, I just like the way it was like a filmmaker having to do just went out and thought, fuck the studio, I'll just do my own thing. He's directed Rango, then obviously wanted to flex his filmmaking muscle with something different and independent, and just financed it himself. Obviously produced it by using his friends and his like social circle of actors, and just chucked them all into a situation and made a decent film out of it. So I think that's a really good example of a filmmaker just going out on his own and thinking, screw this. There are ways of making original films without having to beg for the studio for money. So that's pretty cool, pretty original, because it doesn't happen very often these days.
Yeah, I did like it. So what have you seen? Hit me.
Yeah, so let's start with comedy. I watched The D Train the other day with Jack Black and James Marsden. I'm not sure when it was released at home. Was it released in the UK?
Yeah, I think it was
months ago, maybe.
Yeah,
it's had a weird release. It's been released. It was kind of, it's quite a low profile film, but it's been released at different times over the course of the last 6 months in different regions, I think. But yeah, that is it's a comedy. It's by actually a debut for two directors. One, I think, is an actor, and he's turned into director, and then one is a director, and this is their like collaboration debut film. So they've done pretty well to get a cast, including Jack Black and James Marsden in their first film. And it's basically a film about Jack Black is this. I actually watched it and I wrote a review very quickly, but I won't just read it out. I'm just going to look at it to remind myself. But yeah, Jack Black is like this married father of two in a small town in America, middle America somewhere, and he doesn't really have much of a dynamic life. He's got nothing really going on. He's got a mundane existence. He works in the same company he's been in since he graduated, so for probably 20-25 years, and his boss is the dad in Arrested Development.
Okay.
But he's really funny. Just looking at him, he's funny. He's great. I love him, actually. He's so cool. He's his boss in this company, and they still have the office looks really dated. It's all like wooden paneled wallpaper, like furnishings and stuff everywhere. It looks like it was decorated in the 70s or early 80s, and they still haven't refurbished, and they still have dial-up internet. And he has to bug his boss every now and then, can we not get broadband? And his boss treats him like a son. He's like, oh, it's okay, like rubbing his belly and stuff, like patting Jack Black on the head. It's it's okay. We don't need all these new technology. We're an old school traditional company, and we get through with our good relationships with our clients and our hard work. And it's like it's kind of set up like The Office is a very, I don't even know what they do. It doesn't go into detail, but they may as well be like a paper seller or something, really like dry job. So he does this during the day. In the evening, he fastidiously organizes this group of a high school reunion committee, like a alumni committee. So he's like the head of the committee. So you can imagine he's kind of, as Jack Black plays it, like very like a lovable loser, like a nice, really warm, friendly guy, but just clueless. And he wears his pants up to his nipples. You know, he's very like unfashionable, but everybody likes him in the community. And he just for something exciting to do, he's the head of the alumni committee, and they're organizing a 20-year high school reunion. So he's the one doing it. He's in charge of the Facebook and stuff. He doesn't want to give out the password of the Facebook account because he doesn't want people fucking about with it, taking it very seriously, as you can imagine. And the rest of the group are like ex-high school students, the same situation, never moved away from the town, and they meet up every Wednesday or whatever it is and talk about this reunion and trying to organize it. And they don't really care as much. They're just kind of there for the free cupcakes or whatever. And he's, you know, really doing a bit of a David Brent about it, really trying to create the most amazing reunion, and he's taking it really seriously. So no one really cares about it, and no one's going to turn up. So he's one night he's sitting at home with his son, and he sees this advert for Banana Boat suntan lotion, and it's his the most popular kid in high school from 20 years ago is in this commercial, and that's right. James Marsden. So he's like, oh my god, wow, this guy's made it, he's in Hollywood, he's made it. So he has this idea of trying to get this guy, if this guy can turn up to the old high school reunion in this crappy small town they all grew up in, it would be a success, everyone's going to turn up. So he says to the committee, okay, tell you what we're going to do, we're going to get, I can't even remember the character name, but
it sounds like Bernie a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, but his Bernie character is like really sad and like this weird, obsessive mummy's boy, isn't he? That clings onto this old lady, and he's. But it is similar. It does remind me of that as well. Actually, that real like middle America suburban small town existence. It was kind of like that. But he says, okay, right, Oliver Lawless, that's the character, James Marsden's character. He's like, okay, if we get Oliver Lawless to turn up to this reunion, it's going to be success. Everyone's going to turn up. And they're like, well, you didn't even know him. And he's like, well, I did. He was my best friend. And they were saying, no, he wasn't. He was Mr. Popular. He didn't even know you existed. So that's got quite a funny kind of vibe to it when that happens. So then what he does is he pretends to his boss, the dad from Arrested Development, who's like such a nice, clueless old man. He pretends that he's got a business deal, but he has to go in person and fly to LA to secure it, to meet a new client. And he's like, oh, okay, I'll come along too. And he's like, I don't think you should. Like, no, it's okay. I could do with a trip. Or, you know, it'd be like the old days 20 years ago. Let's go and secure this together. So,
when you're saying the dad, do you mean the granddad?
Sorry, the granddad. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm thinking they're roughly the same age. It's the guy, he's been in loads of stuff, like...
Oh, yeah, he's been in loads of stuff,
Spinal Tap and all that stuff.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah, the granddad, yeah. So anyway, they fly to LA. The boss thinks that they're on a business trip to secure a new client, which is going to save the company. But really, all this Daniel guy doing, Jack Black's character, is flying out there on the pretense of owning a business trip, but just to meet his old high school buddy to convince him to come to a loser reunion. And then he meets James Marsden again. James Marsden is pretty much like, who the fuck are you? And then this whole bromance thing unfolds of him trying to impress James Marsden's character, trying to be cool enough to convince him to come to a lame high school reunion in the small town that James Marsden's character forgot about years ago because he moved to Hollywood to try and make it. But you can tell that he is basically an actor who didn't make it. You know, he's in one commercial, he's got a shit life, living in a shitty apartment, just on the fringes of an actor's, you know, social circle in Hollywood. But even that is enough for Jack Black's character to be like completely starstruck again by him and being like, this guy's got the coolest life. I can't believe you made it. And he's kind of like, well, I guess, you know, I did all right, I guess, even though he knows he failed everything. So they do start hanging out together. And I tell you what, so it's quite dry and it does get quite dark in places. And at first, I thought it would be this light-hearted kind of like la la, comedy of Jack Black being this lovable loser, go and find the cool kid at school, and just be quite that kind of light and silly comedy, where Jack Black's going to be playing over the top, character, where it's just going to be all about him. But it's not like that at all. It's actually quite subtle and quite depressing in times. And something happens. I don't want to give it away, and I do want you to watch it, because the reason why I say it goes dark, it just takes a very weird turn. And not to say the tone of the movie changes, because it doesn't. It's all quite somber, quite dry and slow in terms of laughs, but there are really funny moments in there. But yeah, some really weird things happen. You're like, what the fuck?
Okay.
And it really changes the dynamic of the relationship of the characters in the film. Jack Black, James Marsden, Jack Black's wife, and he's got a son as well, and all these kind of these people, these ex schoolmates of his, and it's almost got a bit of a Napoleon Dynamite-y feel about it at times, but it's not as caricature and silly as that. But yeah, I really liked it. I actually really enjoyed it, and I didn't think I did. Like I said, I thought it'd be a bit of a silly comedy, but it's not at all. And it addresses some quite heavy issues in a very strange way.
Okay.
And yeah. So if you get the chance to watch it somehow, yeah, you should watch it, because I really enjoyed it actually. I thought I was pleasantly surprised by it. And yeah, so it's not going to have you like cracking up and like, oh my god, this is so funny, like Jack Black doing his School of Rock or over the top drama at all. He's downplaying quite a lot, but it just, the relationship and the writing, it's just a nice original story. Yeah, and like I said, something happens around midway and it changes everything, and you think, well, I didn't see that coming. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's the only problem with these days is that every time I see Jack Black on the cover of anything, I'm like,
yeah,
can I be bothered?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, I do quite like him. I always find him watchable. I always find, I don't mind watching a Jack Black film, but like I said, I thought this would be just another Jack Black vehicle, but it's not at all. And to learn that it's a debut director, and original screenplay, it's good. And you think it's just going to be this like ding 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 kind of plodding along plot line, but yeah, there's some good bits in it, and James Marsden is good as well.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good. Definitely. Yeah, I think you should watch it. So that's the comedy I've seen, and then I also saw Inside Out when I landed. So when I flew back from London that night, I didn't want to stay. I didn't want to go home and just fall asleep to try and get back into the time zone. I went to the cinema straight away and watched Inside Out. So I figured it was a choice of that and Sinister 2, and I did kind of want to watch Sinister 2, but it looks so shit I couldn't even bring myself to watch it. I knew I'd fall asleep, so I thought, okay, Inside Out is a bit of a safe bet. You'd given it a pretty good review a month or so ago, so I thought I'd try and catch it, and I should be able to stay awake. I did fall asleep for bits throughout it, but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's good, isn't
it? Said, actually, yeah, it's good. It's a good way of dealing with quite heavy issues, like you're saying, about like basically child depression, loneliness, and having to move to a new city and all this stuff. And I really like the way they personified all these little characters, and made an adventure out of it. I really like those islands where they have the personality islands. It was really cool. I really like how they did that, and the way they were falling apart when she kind of stops like having any passion for anything.
Yeah.
And it's sad, the girl's just getting like so severely depressed.
I know.
And I know it's something a lot of us go through. You move school or move home when you're a kid. I was like 6 or whatever when I moved town, and I remember like my brother was like inconsolable in tears because he was going to lose all his friends. He was 9, a few years older, but I wasn't really old enough to give a shit about my friends. So I moved when I was 6, and I was like whatever. And then I met you like the next week when I got to a new school. It happened to sit on the same table because we had like names with the same letter, starting with the same letter or something.
Yeah, it wasn't birthdays.
It might have been birthdays, or I think it was birthdays, because so then we sat next to each other for like however many years and got told off all the time for talking too much. But I can, so I can kind of, Yeah, yeah,
Bret
exactly.
Harding.
Yeah, all born within the same couple of months. But yeah, so I really enjoyed it, and I really I thought what was that character, Bing Bong or something, who's his mate,
Well,
her imaginary friend.
yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, he was my favorite.
Yeah,
Uh,
he was great. I don't know who voiced him actually, but that was
no,
really he was really good.
you'd know.
Um,
It's the guy. He's been in loads of stuff. I can't remember
yeah,
his
I
name. But
recognize
one
his
of those
voice for
faces.
sure.
He's in Arrested
Um,
Development as well. If it's
Oh, okay. But he was great. He was a great little character, the way he was like an imaginary friend and then you're always at risk of being forgotten. I really like those ideas of kids can forget stuff and it's going to go into the dark memory or whatever it is, and then people are going to clean it up like, oh, we don't need this anymore. Let's forget it. Let's get rid of it. And those little robots going around deleting all your long-term memories that you don't need anymore. So he like all these people always being at a risk, all these little like object personifications being at risk of being forgotten by this kid's mind, which is still maturing and still developing. I really like those ideas. It was really cool. And yeah, sadness really annoyed me though, because it was just too sad. Just Phyllis from The Office is like, "Meh, I just wanted to touch it." Oh, because like she's like it's like a mental ward, isn't it? In the brain.
Yeah.
And Joy is just like relentlessly happy because otherwise she doesn't know any other way. Sadness is the depressed person moping around, just touching stuff and
actually really pathetic.
Yeah, and they're always just trying to like make sure she doesn't ruin anything. And then there's someone who's just anger just going mental. And then so it's really weird. There's so many levels to it. Actually, you could really like dismantle it and look into it so deeply. All these ideas around mental health. I thought it was good. It was really like it's good for kids as well, but even for adults. And I know a lot of people I've talked to said when that character, like when the whole big scene with Bing Bong and stuff and flying through the air and like go and save her. Everyone was like, "Oh my god," I was welling up so much.
Yeah,
but I woke up at that point, so I hadn't really invested in him enough to cry because I like fell asleep for 5 minutes and then I woke up and I was like, "Huh? Oh, he's back. What's going on? Why are they flying through the air?" And then I was thinking in my brain, like my really tired brain, jet lagged brain, I was thinking, I could probably cry now. If I actually concentrated, I could cry, but it wouldn't be about the film. It'd be about just being so tired and having just flown like 13 hours and gone straight to the cinema. So I was tempted to just cry, just to fit in with the rest of the cinema. But I should just be like, I'm just so tired.
I understand the concept of flying.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, "Oh, you found the film really sad as well." Yeah, I was just so tired. But there you go. But yeah, I thought it was cool, man.
Yeah, it's a nice way of like kids, of showing kids how to understand their feelings and stuff, and the fact that it's not all about, you're not going to be happy all the time, and that's a good and healthy thing to feel different.
But at the end, it was a bit like, okay, so the way they resolved it was pretty much like just get over it and make new friends. It was like, oh right, okay, yeah, okay, I'm right now. And it's like, let's go and play hockey, and yeah, everything's gonna be all right. Because the way she was like on the verge of running away and going back to Massachusetts, and like, oh my god, I love Massachusetts so much, and then the mum and dad going, yeah, me too, and then that was like the turning point for her, that she understood that her dad and my parents also missed their past home and stuff, that they weren't just ripping her away from her old house because and that memories and that memories can be happy and sad. You can have bittersweet memories, and that's what they made at the end. But I thought, okay, so what are they going to do is jack San Francisco in and move back to Massachusetts, and that would be like, okay, we don't always have to move to be happy. We had it pretty good as we were. That's what I thought was going to happen. But instead it's like, yeah, fuck it, I'm over it now. It's fine. So it was a bit oh, yeah. I was like, oh, okay, all right. Well, it was a little bit pointless, but I enjoyed it.
But she matured. She became from a child to.
Yeah, but she just got over it. It should just be called Get Over It.
Yeah, but they've already snapped that.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. Oh man. Yeah, so I watched that, and I'll quickly run through two more that I watched recently. I finally got around to watching Dark Places, Charlize Theron thriller. And it's about it's quite thrilling in parts. Charlize Theron, Nicholas Hoult, and who the fuck else is in it? Oh my god, Chloe Moretz Bumhole. What's her name?
Grace, whatever. Claimorous
Yeah,
Grace.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know why she shouldn't have been in it. And Corey Stoll, or whatever his name is, from The Strain and from House of Cards and from Ant-Man.
Oh, right, yeah.
Bald guy.
Ross, our friend Ross Cherning.
Yeah, our friend Ross Cherning, yeah. What I find funny about him is because he's obviously bald as fuck, right? So in all his roles, he's bald because he's bald in real life. And do you watch The Strain?
No.
You don't watch it, do you? I think you should watch it. It's right. It's very, very like B-movie pulpy, but it's got some cool like vampire horror bits in it. The characters are pretty annoying though. But his character, he's the main character in it. And in the second season now, Mondays is usually when I watch the new episode. I think about 3 weeks ago, so about maybe 5 or 6 episodes into the second season, he's got like this floppy kind of ear length hair throughout the whole of the first season. And the whole time I was thinking he's in House of Cards at the same time, bald. So I was thinking, is this a wig? Or
it has to be, surely.
Yeah, it has to be because he's bald as fuck. So I was thinking, is he bald and is he actually did he shed his head for House of Cards, or has he actually got this hair? So it must have been a hairpiece for sure. And then in the second season, something happens where he has to change his appearance a bit, and he shaves his head. And then there's one scene where he's shaving his head, his stupid floppy hair, and then the next scene he's got bald head, and they're like, "Oh right, it suits you," and he's like, "Yeah." And then that's it. They just get on with the series. It's almost like between the first season and second season, they were like, sweet, it did pretty well on FX, let's do a second season. And he's probably like, yeah, I'm up for it, but
please can I lose that?
Got to go. Yeah, he's like, seriously, it's fucking doing my head in. House of Cards, they had no problem with it. Ant-Man, they were totally cool with my bald head. But this,
you guys,
yeah, he's like, seriously, can you work it out? And they were like, okay, give us 5 episodes, all right, and then we figure out how to lose the hair. Thank God. Yeah, it's so funny. So he's bald in Dark Places as well. But Dark Places is about Charlize Theron. She's the survivor of a massacre in the 80s where her family was killed. So she's the youngest kid who survived. Her mum was killed, who is Christine Hendricks. She's good in it. She's in Flashback. Yeah. Yeah. So no, that's the thing, man. It's got a good cast, you know, which is weird because it really went under the radar. It was only out here for like a week or so. I remember we talked a while ago, and neither of us had watched it, and I was quite surprised that it didn't really do better box office. But I think I know why after seeing it, but because it's not that engaging. It's not that wow thriller edge of your seat. It's quite boring in parts, and it's quite, you know, it plods along, and there isn't the real violence and kind of seedy, thrillery stuff you'd expect from it, like the Gone Girl or that kind of thing. It doesn't really happen that you'd hope for. But anyway, so yeah, she's a survivor of a massacre in the 80s, and now she's grown up, obviously, Charlize Theron, and she's like this kind of a bit tomboy-y, always wearing a cap, got short hair, troubled, tortured soul. And Nicholas Holt's character finds her, and he's part of this club called the Kill Club. And it's basically normal citizens who try to solve unsolved murder cases. Right. And they have weird parties where they all dress up. That was a bit stupid as well, because when she first introduced to the group, they're this weird, almost like masquerade type party where they were half of them were in fancy dress as serial killers, and then the other and they were also sitting down trying to piece together clues of unresolved murders and stuff. And it was a bit far-fetched to think that those clubs exist. Maybe in New York, or maybe there's these weird parties about, you know, serial killers and people with fascinations around serial killers, because obviously a lot of people are fascinated with it. But that seemed weird, that it was almost like, okay, we need a way of of solving this crime, this murder, but let's not have a police detective film. So it was these normal people trying to solve it. So he is like the treasurer of that group, and he finds her and he's like, okay, can you come and talk to us? Because I know you don't want to talk to the police, but can you come and talk to us? It's 20 years later, and just maybe shed some new light on what happened that night. And she's like really difficult to deal with. She's like, oh, fuck you. She's got no money. She's living in a caravan or whatever, and she's like, okay, well, for $500 I'll come and talk to you weirdos for half an hour or whatever. So then it unravels from there, really. More information turns up, and the whole film is Charlize Theron as that character. She kind of gets convinced to look into what happened more, and her elder brother, who in the flashbacks scenes with Christina Hendricks, the elder brother is like this gothy, dyed his hair black kid, teenager kid, angsty teenager who's just got loads of Misfits posters on his wall, and it's like, oh, he's going through a phase and he's starting to devil worship. So what happened? That kid got put in jail. He got blamed for the murders. So she was kind of like okay with it. Like, my brother was fucked up. He killed my family. I've just lived with it for the last 20 years. But she gets convinced to look into it a bit further, and it starts to seem maybe he wasn't the guy who killed he didn't massacre his whole family, and they just pinned it on him because at that time in the 80s, loads of kids were getting into satanic shit. They were all listening to heavy metal and gothy stuff.
So, Misfits were just like some stupid
they're
punk wrestler band.
Yeah, exactly, right. It was a bit lame. They could have found some like more hardcore bands than that to put on his wall. But I think it was also to try and like depict that these kids were just into music, you know, that the music wasn't necessarily telling them to do this bad shit. It's just that it was a phase, angsty phase, but it was easy for the community and the police to pin it on him. You're a freak. So the real question was like, why did he not appeal, and why did he just go to jail for 20 years and deal with it, you know? So he later in the present day, that guy from House of Cards and The Strain, he is the older brother in jail.
Right.
So there are scenes where she visits the older brother, talks to him, and it's kind of like, okay, well, this weird group of serial killer enthusiasts have fucking kind of like asked me to come and see you, but I don't want to see you. But anyway, what happened that night? So it turns into that Detective E type of mystery thriller, and Chloe Moretz Grace is hit in the flashback scenes as his fucked up girlfriend. So that's where all the actors sit. So it's all right, actually. It's quite captivating in parts where you think it could go one way, then it could go another, and you think, oh, okay, well, did he do it? If he didn't do it, was there another person present? And I do like the way the flashbacks sit quite well. It's quite well synced with the flashbacks, and they slowly reveal more information about what happened leading up to that night, and then at the end you see what happened that night. So I actually like the flashback scenes, but I didn't like the present day scenes. I didn't really like Nicholas Holt's character is a bit like just one-dimensional, just for the sake of having some guy to be the spokesperson of this club to try and get Charlize Theron back into the scene and trying to resolve or solve this mystery. And Charlize Theron she just seems just like she's obviously supposed to be this troubled person who doesn't really give a fuck about anything, and she's really damaged because of what happened. So she's just turned into this, you know, getting by of life, shitty life, American, you know, with nothing else to do and in debt up to her eyeballs and stuff. But I just need to plug my computer in. Yeah, so she just wasn't great in the role, actually, and she just seemed like she was dialing it in.
That's a shame.
Yeah, so she didn't really come off that well, but there were points in it which were pretty good. You know, I would, if you had nothing else to watch, I would watch it. If you're into like a mystery thriller thing, and it's better than the new series of True Detective for sure. I was just thinking, you know, just with this 2 hours is much better than the last 9 hours or whatever the hell of that True Detective. They could have easily condensed it into a film and done something a little bit different. So it had its good points, but my major gripe towards the end was that guy from House of Cards, he is supposed to play her older brother, who is at least 10 to 12 years older than her. But Charlize Theron is blatantly older than him in real life, and she's 41 and he's 39.
Okay.
So it doesn't match up. Like the ages of the casting. Yeah, exactly.
I know.
It just didn't work, and the whole time, the further the film went on, I was thinking, so he's the older brother, and she's the youngest one who escaped when she was like 5. So now she's supposed to be like in her mid-30s, and he's supposed to be in his mid to late 40s, and it doesn't look like it. Charlize Theron, obviously, she is great to look at, but she is starting to show her age, and I think they miscast that. I think that they used her as the name, you know, to get everybody else attached. But she seemed to give the least of a shit compared to all the other actors in the film. And the whole thing, the casting was weird. Nicholas Holt's casting was weird. The brother should have been much older. The dysfunctional, fucked up dad He's the same actor in both the flashbacks, and then in the present day, he's just got a beard and he's just like dressed up like a tramp. And you think, come on, man, you could have done something better with that. Figured out how to get a much older actor to play the role. So the casting just really didn't work. It didn't fit for me at all. But it was okay thriller, not so bad.
Yeah. Oh, that's a might check it out. Yeah, as you said, if there's nothing else going on.
Yeah, and then my is Southpaw. So I just watched that yesterday.
Yeah, I haven't heard great things.
It's shit. It's absolutely shit. It really is. And I was really disappointed. I didn't have high hopes for it. The director Antoine Fuqua.
Yeah.
So Equalizer director and Training Day, right?
Yeah.
And it just feels like, I don't know, the director has been getting quite a good acclaim and thinks, you know what, I'm gonna have a stab at boxing movie just for the sake of it, just to legitimize myself as a leading Hollywood director. And as well as an actor, it's like all these great actors have, Daniel Day-Lewis and Marlon Brando and obviously De Niro have it's almost like, okay, you've got to play a retard and play a boxer. I don't know, to be considered great. So Jake Gyllenhaal is fucking Billy Hope. Everything about the screenplay annoys me, especially the names. Like, why call yourself Billy Hope? They're such stupid names.
Is he actually called Billy Hope? I thought you were taking
he's called Billy Hope. Yeah, he's called Billy Hope. That's his character name. And it really felt that it was written by a GCSE student. The whole script, all the names, everything. So he plays this world champion boxer. And he's like a Rocky type character. He hasn't got a refined technique, and he's not classed as like a beautiful boxer. He's classed as a slugger. Someone who takes a lot of damage, but he can take a punch, but he can really give a punch.
Right.
This guy, he's gone 46 professional fights unbeaten. He's the world champion. Something happens with his wife. His wife is played by Rachel McAdams.
Yeah.
And he's got a kid. He's a family man. She looks great in it. Family man, and then something bad happens. A tragedy happens in his family, and then he loses his world title, and then it's all about him building himself back up, and he's got an anger problem, so he has to deal with that first, and then he has to find a new trainer, so he finds Forrest Whitaker. Forrest Whitaker plays the very fucking cliched, drunken, past it old timer boxing trainer who runs a small community gym for kids, troubled kids, and then this former world champion turns up at his door and says, train me because you trained the one guy who gave me a good fight years ago. Okay, I'll train you. And then there's a fucking training montage, and then there's the redemption at the end where he has to fight this other loudmouth, cocky Hispanic boxer guy to win his title back, and that is it. And it's got every sports movie cliche going in it. And my main criticisms of it, because I grew up as a big boxing fan. I've trained boxing a long time, and not that I know much at all, but you can see that Jake Gyllenhaal doesn't look like he's a boxer.
Oh, really?
He just doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't look like compared to someone like De Niro or Hilary Swank in $1 Million Baby, he doesn't look like he's spent years and years boxing. It's fucking hard, A lot of people like to make these boxing films because of Rocky, because it's the ultimate underdog type of movie you can make, and it appeals to that blue collar audience, and people are going to get behind this guy who's an average guy who's turned out to become a world champion. But he just looks shit. He just looks like he's in really good shape, but he looks like he spent 6 months lifting weights, not boxing. And the other guy, yeah, it's basically what he did, And the other guy who's also in the strain, the antagonist, the other boxer, the Hispanic guy who he's got to fight at the end, he is naturally athletic, you can tell, and he can kind of box, and he looks like he could easily be a boxer. But Jake Gyllenhaal doesn't look like he could be a boxer. He looks like he should be a builder. And it just doesn't look right in the ring and the training scenes and stuff. He just looks really stiff. And I know he's supposed to be this, he's not the most technical wizard of boxers. He's a slugger, but he still doesn't look like he's spent 46 fights unbeaten. You don't become a world champion 46 fights unbeaten as a
non-technical,
yeah,
like
yeah, exactly. As just a haymaking throwing slugger dude who gets punched as much as he punches someone. It doesn't happen in real life. So his footwork is dry. Everything looks very like rigid, and that excuse of him not being the most technically gifted boxer doesn't fly for me. It just didn't work at all. And Gyllenhaal's playing this kind of really down and grisly, trying to downplay his role, like this completely fucked damaged man where everything's been taken away from him. He has to build himself back up. He does all right. He plays the role quite well. He's quite contained and isolated in parts of it, and you can feel the fucking horrible experiences he's been through. But everything, Forrest Whitaker's so cliched, and he doesn't fit the role, and the fact that they're supposed to fight for the light heavyweight title, and he doesn't look anything heavier than a middleweight. And I know that's like a small criticism, but I don't know why they didn't just change the screenplay to suit the size of the actors. They could have easily it's not like based on a real true story, so they could have easily just gone, okay, let's just change the script so it says middleweight, because they're not like heavyweights. Like heavyweights are big.
yeah.
And that was just one of many times that I thought they should have changed the script. They should have rewritten it to suit what was happening, what was being developed in the film, but they didn't. And there's so many cheesy bits, like cheesy training montage, and so many things that they just didn't fit. And the typical like entourage, like the very stereotypical gangster entourage surrounding both boxers. And there's just too many similarities with Rocky as well. And the whole point of it's called Southpaw because while he's training him, he's like, you should try a Southpaw stance because it's going to be a little bit different and it's going to surprise your opponent, which is exactly what happened in Rocky. So that is just completely ripped out of the Rocky book anyway. So there's so many like sports movie, especially boxing movie cliches that they stole that I just don't know why they made it, honestly. And 50 Cent is in it and he's shit. He doesn't really do anything. He plays the really predictable boxing promoter who you think is loyal to one person but then turns out isn't. And then they try and put together a world championship fight in Caesar's Palace on 6 weeks notice, which wouldn't happen. It's just stupid. And then at the end, he's kind of like, oh, I only gave him 6 weeks notice, so we couldn't train that for that long. But that's just unbelievable. You wouldn't be able to put something together like that for 6 weeks. It's at least 12 weeks before you sign a fight and then have this fight, a world championship fight in Las Vegas. So it felt like they didn't have like a boxing consultant or like a proper boxing choreographer to make it really raw and really realistic, but as well as making the whole thing surrounding these huge fights actually realistic in terms of time frame and training and all this kind of stuff. So it just felt like a shitty 80s movie, man. It's pretty bad, and I really hoped that there'd be at least some exciting action or at least like a really amazing performance by Gyllenhaal or something that redeemed it, but there wasn't. I really can't recommend watching it. Even as a really big boxing fan, it's just not worth it. I'd just watch Rocky.
Yeah, bloody hell.
It's shit. Yeah.
Sounds it. Well,
there you go.
Fuck.
Yeah, not great.
Well, that's Southpaw.
There's my reviews out of the way. Sorry, man, I've been going on a while, but there you go. Now we're up to date.
Now, yeah, exactly. Now I've just got to watch more things.
Yeah,
just got to watch some of these. But I don't have to watch them now because it sounds like there's basically not really that much.
Yeah, I've got them covered.
Yeah, one of the big things that happened today was the death of Wes Craven, who is a horror maestro. Yeah, and bit of a shame. People probably know him best for Nightmare on Elm Street, which was, I think it was the first appearance of Johnny Depp in a film, I want to say. I know it's like it was before he was famous, I don't know if it was his first.
Yeah, but it's the most remembered, wasn't it, of like his early appearances.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, if you go back, like he apparently started off in porn under a pseudonym.
Really? Wes Craven or Johnny Depp?
Wes Craven. Yeah, Johnny Depp. Wes Craven did. Yeah, he made porn films, and he got like a master's in philosophy or something like that. So he's quite clever. And then whilst he was making his porn to pay his wages, he made Last House on the Left, which I can't remember. Did you say you'd seen it or not?
I right. Is it the one with the bitten off dick,
No,
or is that that's bit in your grave? No way. I swear we've seen. I know you've seen it. I swear we watched it together at uni. I swear.
it
I'm
might.
pretty sure, but I can't. They do bite a dick. I swear. All right, at some point in it.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's the mum, isn't it? At the end.
Yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah.
right. Yeah, there is
Because
a
I
bit.
mean, it's a horrible, sadistic film, isn't it? About a group of fucked up characters tormenting a mother and daughter, right?
Yeah, it's two
Yeah.
friends, two girls who are friends.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's all a bit weird because it's like the reason, and part of the reason why I like it is that it's so like even now today, if you watched it, it's just so fucking strange. Not that in terms of like content, which is weird anyway, but the way it's
Yeah.
presented, because it's like you've got two bumbling cops who are trying to find them, and all that
Yeah.
stuff is like pure comedy, like Benny Hill kind of
Oh yeah, of
like
course the cops.
ridiculous
Yeah,
comedy.
yeah,
Because they're just like
yeah,
being really stupid, and you've got all this like stupid music playing at the same time as like rape.
yeah.
But what's really weird is like the two girls. So it's like there's three of them. There's three like bad guys, and one of them's a woman. And basically, they basically make these two girls rape each other, and then they rape them. But like the
Oh,
older
yeah,
one
okay.
is like, if I remember right, the older one's like, no, let's just do it, whatever. And the younger one's like, I don't really want to. And the other one's like, yeah, just come on, don't worry about it. We'll just do it and get over done with. And I remember thinking that's a bit
Oh,
weird
yeah,
in itself.
yeah,
And then it's
yeah,
something like oh God, well, I don't want to ruin it, but basically the parents of where one of the youngest girl lives or something, they go to like the house to like steal from them or something like that. And anyway,
oh, yeah,
the parents like have some like revenge thing.
yeah. It
So
turns into revenge, doesn't it?
so there's all these different things because it starts off as just like a kidnap, then it's like a
Yeah,
horror, and then it's got these comedy elements, then it's this revenge thing. Yeah, it's really weird, but it's like really brave. I think you could only make that like at that time. What was that?
well, I mean,
1972.
this was yeah. So this was 72. So it was actually 2 years, 2 or 3 years before Texas Chainsaw. So it was fucking early. And that's what it reminds me of is Texas Chainsaw, mainly because of the just complete psychotic characters in it.
Yeah,
That those just bizarre, horrible, like almost like Mad Max. Just they've got absolutely they no need to flesh out these villains or even try and sympathize with them. They're just absolute psychos. And in this one, they've escaped convicts or something, right? Or they're
yeah,
basically
something like that. You don't really know
mentally
that much about
broken. Yeah, yeah, exactly. But like that horrible, nasty, that kind of video nasty type of film. But yeah, the more you talk about it, the more I do remember it actually.
them.
And yeah, so Wes Craven made the original, didn't they? And then they remade it, right? They did a Last House on the Left remake, which I definitely
Yeah,
didn't see.
I don't think I saw that either. But I
Yeah,
remember thinking it looked like a proper horror, and it was like almost kind of lost that. It just becomes a normal horror then. And what was
yeah.
great
Then
about
what's
that
the
original
point?
thing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's your favorite Wes Craven film then?
I don't know. I'm just looking back, dude. So it's like The Hills Have Eyes was great. Swamp Thing was
Yeah,
too.
yeah. I didn't actually realize that was Wes Craven. I
Hills Have
forgot.
Eyes, yeah.
Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, he did part
Which,
two as well, and this was all
yeah,
before Nightmare on Elm Street. Looking at it, which is pretty
yeah,
cool.
exactly. Right. Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know. I didn't really like. I do kind of like Nightmare on Elm Street, but not as much. Oh God, he did loads of Twilight Zone. Not as much as I thought. Shocker was pretty good. Vampire in Brooklyn, fucking hell. Then he did the
Saw that.
Screams. Red Eye was pretty bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Yeah, that was shit.
he did
Oh
My
yeah,
Soul to
Shocker, of
Take.
course. Yeah, I mean, well, the main franchise has got to be Nightmare on Elm Street, and Scream that he's famous for, right? Um, so he was famous for Scream, which was that the whole like being all meta and self-referencing the horror genre, and like, yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
Um,
um,
I mean, yeah. I'd probably say, and this it sounds a bit weird, but it might actually be like Last House on the Left, or maybe Hills Have
yeah,
Eyes.
yeah,
Um, no, Last House on the Left, I think probably. I mean, he wrote. I'm just looking at this. He apparently wrote a lot of
yeah. It
stuff.
looks
And he
like it.
did. He wrote People Under the Stairs. Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember it. Yeah, I've seen it here, but what?
That
But
was
then
super
who
weird.
made that then in the end? People on the Stairs.
I I thought that was Wes Craven. I thought he directed it, but obviously he didn't.
Yeah.
But that was weird, where it was like,
well, he did TV stuff as well, didn't he?
Comedy. Yeah, he seems like he did a lot of TV. And it says director Wes Craven, so it's not. I don't know why it's not coming up.
Okay.
Why it didn't come up on his thing on IMDb? That's weird. Yeah, People Under Stairs was quite funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually do think it might be Last House on the Left, just because it was just so surreal, so weird.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? I mean, to create something like Freddy Krueger, and to create such a massive phenomenon as Nightmare on Elm Street is pretty amazing, isn't it? Especially to spawn like how many, like 6, 7, 8 sequels.
Yeah,
I mean, there's so many, and then you know, over the course of decades, because then he then make obviously the new Nightmare as well. So
he did, yeah.
He went back. What was this? 94. He did new Nightmare. So, you know, you're talking like 40, a good 30, 40 years of filmmaking.
Yeah, pretty
impressive stuff.
Pretty impressive, yeah. So that was a real shame, but
it is, one of the originals.
Yeah, I'd recommend.
It's a shame.
For anyone who likes the Scream films and stuff, just go back and check out his early stuff. Check out Last House on the Left and Hills of Eyes and Nightmare on Elm Street, and just take a look at some classic horror.
Yeah, because that was the great thing about his Scream films, that I know they were a bit kind of pop culture, too pop culture-y and everything, but the way that he referenced the conventions and almost dismantled and took the piss out of the horror conventions that he had a big part in creating in the 70s. You know, the predictable villain, and you know, with the villain, should the victims run upstairs or run out of the house, and then how the TV crews talking about it and the hysteria surrounding it, and how
suburbia.
Exactly. All of these being set in this white picket fence suburbia, and then high school as well, and all these characters almost mystifying or like exaggerating the killer, but the killer actually just turning out to be an idiot next door or whatever. But it's really good the way, I mean, that's what's so famous about the Scream films, really, that the pop culture references and all this stuff. That he did that, seeing as he was one of the original horror guys as well.
Yeah, so it's a real shame. He died brain cancer or whatever, brain tumor.
Did he?
Yeah.
Well, he's 76, so it's not that old. Not old, you know.
No, but good, you know, pretty old.
Yeah, he did well.
Yeah, good history of films there. Not better than most. So one thing which I've been talking to Si about for a while is and one of the subjects it's going to be about today is about the history of Batman in cinema. Now, this isn't including any of the animated stuff, so this isn't like Mask of the Phantasm or Red Hood or anything like that, which I know people do love. So this is just literally purely live action, the real Batman. And it's also weird because it was like I was watching, I'm going off on a tangent now, but Casino Royale was on ITV yesterday.
Right.
I mean, the 60s one with David Niven.
The original, right.
Yeah. And it's just like, I've never actually seen it before. I was surprised, like, the fact it's got Orson Welles, Woody Allen.
I don't think I've seen it.
No, well, I had never seen it before, and I didn't watch the whole thing. But I was like, this is such a weird fucking film to make. And you think about when people say, who's the best Bond? And it's like, you don't think like Peter Sellers or David Niven or anything.
Yeah, exactly.
The history of James
Bond. It's quite campy and comedy, right?
Yeah, super campy. Like there's no point in trying to follow the plot whatsoever. It's just
okay.
But like, Ursula Andress is in it as well, for instance. I don't know. It's just all really. Just watch it go. It's such a weird film to like exist.
Yeah. But do they class that as a Bond? You know, when they say the 20, however many Bonds there's been. Well, that's always the one. It's like, what do you class it?
Well, this is it, and this is what I mean. Like when I'm going through this Batman list, it's like, would you count some of these as like a part of the main canon. I don't know. It's just
What ones? What do you mean? What kind of example then? Like,
well, like okay, so you can go
really
back.
old.
Yeah, I mean, you can really go back to like when it was 1943, like where when it was like a serial thing on the cinemas. Like, and the film was a character called Dr. Darker or something, and it was all like America versus Japan. Because obviously the war was going on, Second World War at this point.
Yeah.
And it was the first time that it had like a bat cave, and there was like a skinny, mustachioed Alfred. And all this stuff. So that kind of was like introducing the Batcave is a pretty big deal, I suppose.
Yeah.
Which wasn't in the comics or anything. And then Batman and Robin, which is the same Batman, which was in 1949. And then obviously the TV series came out. Adam West, and there was the 1966 Batman, which was just the TV put into a film.
Yeah.
And funny enough, I saw the first 10-15 minutes quite recently, and it's supposed to be stupid and campy anyway, but this one bit where like they've got this like bat cop, you could tell they've kind of gone all out a little bit, and they've got like a Batman helicopter thing, like one of those small 2-people helicopters, like tiny ones.
They just paint the bat symbol on the side.
Yeah, basically. And they take up and they're like, oh, there's a bomb in this shark or something, and like Batman's like fighting this shark or whatever, and he's going, and it's all like cut together ridiculously. And he's like, Robin, pass me the shark repellent spray. And so Robin like just drops it down to him or whatever, and as he's hanging off this ladder off this fucking helicopter, and I'm just like, this is ridiculous. Stuff. Like I totally forgot like how stupid.
It is amazing how far it's come since those days, which wasn't that long ago, really. Considering like those, the 60s or 70s, you'd have what's his name, Lou Ferrigno, painted green, running around as Hulk.
Yeah,
and people actually watch that stuff.
Yeah,
a lot of people
loved it. Well, yeah, I know. There was like, I was reading how the guy who played Robin, he just basically like we kept in his biography was saying about how he kept going around just shagging everyone, and that there was a TV network executives or whatever were like, Robin, your dick's too big for these like shorts that you're wearing.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Or was he like a porn star that they just got in as Robin?
Yeah, I don't know, but apparently he makes
Robin's dick's too big.
Yeah, and he was like, oh, and then that they were even at one point going to talk about surgery and reducing it or whatever.
Really? This is the Adam West TV show.
Yeah, this is all like, the Adam West Batman.
So the Adam West was like, yeah, me too, right? No, yours was fine. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, don't worry, mate. Okay.
Yeah, you can tighter.
Yeah, I guess. Go super tight on that. So Robin, though, it's supposed to be like a 12-year-old boy or whatever he's supposed to be.
Oh, that's amazing. Did you then look back at it and see if you could see an outline of a monster cock Robin's spandex?
Yeah, just like the bulbous head, like just poking out underneath the shorts.
Yeah. Oh man, that's gross.
Yeah, apparently that was the whole thing. He had a name for it. He had a name for his dick, but I can't remember what it is.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Where did you read this?
I can't remember.
Did you read the biography of Robin from the Adam West TV show Batman?
The whole thing. I just had to sit and read it. No, it was something like the TV, like kids' TV stars, like the filth behind kids' TV stars or something.
Right, sounds great.
There was one of them that was in like Full House or whatever it was, and and he had like one of his daughters as like a stand-in, was just like this little blow up girl doll thing, and apparently he used to like always mimic like fucking it and making it suck his dick or whatever and all this stuff.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah, and it's this like kids family TV show. Anyway, stuff like that.
Oh man,
went off tangent.
Yeah. Okay, so Batman, the timeline of Batman.
So Batman, and then so this is the TV, the 60s Camp Capel stuff. They made the film of that, which is where all the enemies kind of get together and whatever. It's not too bad actually. I remember seeing it. Do you remember there was that? I'm going off tangent again, but in Sutton there was where the cinema was, and then it turned into that nightclub. Do you remember Sutton High Street? I actually went to see that Batman film then. I mean, I wasn't alive in the 60s. I'm not that old. But like they did like some weird re-release thing. Or
Well,
like
the bottom of the
Saturday
crappie,
morning.
the old USC or UCI or UCI
No, not the
cinema.
UCI, not the UCI. You know where
Well, that's the one that turned into like fucking New York or something.
yeah, so like
No.
along that
Oh,
street.
yeah. Oh, the old cinema. Yeah. That turned into that club with the stupid car poking out the wall.
Yes, vaguely.
Yes. Yeah. I know exactly where it was. Yeah.
Yeah,
Fuck, I forgot about that cinema.
yeah,
Dusty old cinema. Yeah.
it's crazy. So yeah, that's that. Um,
Yeah.
so after that, yeah, they almost made. Apparently, the next film was going to be Batman in outer space.
Really? Oh my
Yeah,
god.
science fiction was really kicking off.
Yeah.
And then that kind of got shut down. And then they almost made it in 1983, and they really wanted to make like this dark Batman that it kind of ended up being. But they were going to have Richard Niven as Alfred. Peter
Right.
O'Toole was going to be Penguin. Ivan Reitman and Joe.
Weird.
Yeah, Reitman and Joe Dante were going to direct it. Were attached
So
to
that was
some.
close. That was close to being made.
It almost got made. Yeah, Reitman wanted Bill Murray as Batman, if you could believe that.
Oh
Um,
my lord, that would have been
and then big
fucking
crazy.
weird.
And then Eddie Murphy or Michael J. Fox were going to be Robin.
What the hell? Michael, yeah, you can kind of see Michael J. Fox, but Eddie Murphy.
No, Eddie Murphy and Bill Murray as Batman and Robin. That almost happened. Apparently, that almost
I would
happened.
actually have loved to have seen that. But at their height as well, this would have been like what Beverly Hills
83.
Cop, Ghostbusters height of fame.
Yeah, it would
Just
have been. So
before, maybe just before.
Bill Murray would have been big, and Eddie Murphy
Yeah,
would be like the hot. He would be big,
hot new black guy.
been hot, been pretty
Yeah.
hot. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, so that almost happened.
Why didn't they make that?
I know, it fell through, unfortunately. But instead, they went for Tim Burton, who obviously did 1989 one with Jack Nicholson and all that stuff, and grossed over $400 million, which was a pretty big deal back then.
Yeah, that's fucking huge then.
Um,
Still big, but then yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, like when I think back to that film, I liked it more at the time.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I saw it a few years ago now, again, and it was just really more cartoony than I remembered it being.
Yeah, it was quite.
I thought it was like really kind of dark, but it is a bit comic-y still.
Was Michael Keaton? Where was he at that time? I can't remember. Was he big? Was that like a?
He'd just done Beetlejuice, if I remember rightly.
Oh yeah,
so that's
of
why.
course, right.
On.
It's not your, it's not who you'd expect at that point. And I'm wondering, during, at that point, late 80s, that would have been the same reaction. Like, really? Michael Keaton as a new Batman? I thought it would have been fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't know, some action guy.
Yeah, I mean, the studios definitely didn't want him, but Tim Burton was just like,
right.
Michael Keaton just looks, he looks fucking weird, and Batman
is
weird.
Yeah.
But so that's why they kind of chose him. But yeah, no one, I think he'd just done Mr. Mum as well or something. So it's like, people were like, why this guy? Like, he's not Batman.
But even Tim Burton, what had he just done Beetlejuice? Did he do Beetlejuice?
Yeah, he did Beetlejuice, yeah. But he'd, I can't remember what he'd done.
I mean, this was his first big studio film, right? But when he had Batman, like the biggest budget he'd had to play with.
Yeah,
anyway,
definitely the biggest budget he'd had to play with to that point.
Yeah.
Let me just have a look. I'm pretty sure. I'm like next to certain this was just off the back of Beetlejuice, just because that was like gothic, and all that, and still was quite weirdly funny in a weird way. Oh man, my like.
It was literally 2 years after Beetlejuice. Bam.
Okay.
Yeah. So he hadn't done much, man. He'd done Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah, I actually do really like that film.
Yeah, and then there's some Hitchcock Presents stuff, and then next year Beetlejuice, and then bam, 2 years later. No, 1 year later after Beetlejuice, Batman.
Shit, well, there you go. Apparently they're making another Beetlejuice. I don't know if that's true or not.
Oh man, really? No, they should leave that shit alone.
Yeah, and Michael Keaton's going to come back, but yeah,
oh man,
we'll see. But so yeah, Batman Returns, 1992. Apparently McDonald's stopped its tie-in because it was just so dark, and also it's a 15.
What's that?
Stop Batman Returns, McDonald's.
Right. Oh, okay, really? Yeah,
which is like a big deal because obviously
yeah,
that's a lot
yeah,
of money.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Well, yeah, it did get darker, didn't it? In
I
the
really
second one.
liked Batman Returns more than the first one.
Yeah, yeah,
Like when people
yeah.
say,
I liked it.
yeah, when people always like, oh, what sequel is better than the original? Um,
Yeah.
I
Well,
always think Batman
I
Returns.
just liked like then. So that was Danny DeVito,
Yeah,
Penguin, wasn't it? Penguin was an awesome villain, man. I think of all the villains, he's got to be my favorite still. New, old, Batman, whatever. Because just him eating that fish was so disgusting. As a kid, I remember thinking, "Fuck, that's gross." Like
yeah,
that, you know, he must be so crazy to just start eating a fish like that. And also his proportions and stuff. Obviously, we knew Danny DeVito anyway when he was in this. I don't know if he'd been in Twins by then or whatever, but as a kid, I knew who he was. I didn't think he was like some freak they'd found in a circus and chucked into the film. But they, it's still like the how physical that role was,
yeah,
and how perfectly he fit it as well. It was amazing, and just how kind of manic he went, and the way there's that whole like the surrounding the whole voting for the mayor of Gotham City, and he was all politically, you know, tied in and stuff. Yeah, I really liked that. I loved it actually. Batman Returns, but
yeah,
he's probably my favorite villain.
yeah. I can see that. I mean, like Danny
Mm.
DeVito's great anyway, but yeah, he just
Mm.
looked amazing. Just his makeup and like it just felt like it came out of that really cool bit of Tim Burton's brain, which is kind of
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah.
so yeah, there's Batman.
And there's also because he was actually such a fucking lonely, depressing character, wasn't he?
Yeah, he had an
The
actual
Penguin.
like. They gave him a good backstory. They had it the whole
Yeah,
like, thing of just he just wanted to be accepted,
yeah,
basically,
exactly.
been
Because he was just
abandoned.
an outcast, wasn't he? Yeah, an abandoned outcast, and handicapped basically. So people, you actually had that empathy with him, which they try to do all the time with newer Marvel films and Spider-Man films and stuff. But it doesn't quite ring as much as it did with Penguin.
No,
I feel
especially
anyway.
when it's like he's really trying to fit in, and then just by the end, he's just like, "I'm a monster. I'm a
Yeah, exactly.
monster."
'Cause since then, how many times have they done that? They've done that with Spider-Man 2 with Jamie Foxx, right, as Mr. Electro. Exactly the same kind of thing. I don't fit in. I'm an outcast. You could fit in. Really? You think I could? No, I couldn't. Fuck you, mate. And then, so they try it so many times, the same thing, over and over. But yeah, it really worked with Batman Returns for sure.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Mm.
And then I didn't mind. Then 1995 was Batman Forever, which I honestly, I know it kind of this is where it really went tits up,
Yeah,
but
Schumacher.
yeah, but I honestly don't mind it. I don't. I think it's more that I don't mind Val Kilmer as Batman, but
Yeah.
you heard so much bad stuff because apparently Val Kilmer was just a complete cunt. Oh, I shouldn't really use that c word, cock, the whole time,
Yeah.
and apparently like Tommy Lee Jones, Jim Carrey didn't get on at all, like to the
Yeah,
point
it's
where
the big egos, man. That's the
yeah,
problem. You put that big names like that into a film, especially someone like Jim Carrey, who's got, the reputation of being hard to work with. I'm not surprised. It was difficult, to say the
yeah,
least.
for everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think Val Kilmer made it quite underwhelming, but yet I don't know. I just quite like the idea that it was. I don't know. Just like the silent, strong kind of
Yeah,
type.
he looked the part. He's got the jawline, but yeah, he didn't really do much, did he? Um,
No,
yeah. But was that so that was Jim Carrey as the Riddler and yeah, Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face.
that's right. Yeah,
Yeah, it
but
was
it was
hard
when
to
it all
balance
went
those two
proper
big
like
characters, man.
yeah, but it's when it all went like neon and
Yeah, yeah, it was, wasn't it? All cyberpunky.
yeah. And I honestly I didn't mind it as much as I mean it was ridiculous, but yeah,
Yeah,
then
yeah,
it
it
was
was.
much better than Batman and Robin, which is in 1997, which is Schwarzenegger as
Yeah,
Mr. Freeze or whatever, and
Freeze.
Uma Thurman.
Yeah, Ivy. Was that Alicia Silverstone, or was she already in it? I can't remember.
No, she was in Batman and Robin, if I remember right.
Yeah, okay. And what the fuck, Chris O'Donnell, wasn't it,
Yeah,
as
Chris
Robin?
O'Donnell was Robin, and then was she in
Yeah,
that one? She might have been in the one afterwards. I can't remember. No, it would
she
have
was
been that
definitely
one.
in. Yeah, she was definitely in that. I mean,
Because Batman
yeah, I
and
just
Robin
remember.
was George Clooney. Is it?
Oh, yeah, Kilmoney did one, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's definitely in that because there was that whole like gratuitous shot of her ass in the Batgirl costume, which was great at the time, and she was really hot at the time, but it was fucking rubbish.
Yeah. What's she doing now?
God knows. Maybe in a trailer somewhere. I don't know what she's doing. But yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Clooney being Batman.
Yeah.
Because and that was the whole like, does Batman kill your career? But he proved that wrong.
Yeah.
But it is a weird choice. And then that was the whole like nipplegate, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Why is Batman? You know, the whole why has he got nipples on his costume? So
yeah, that was ridiculous. That was so stupid.
Yeah, because what's the logic behind that? Like he needs nipples like on there.
Basically,
yeah, exactly.
Like his naked body. It's like, no.
But why? Like, why is that going to instill terror in people when he's fighting them? Like, he's got nipples as well this time, or like, is he supposed to blend in?
Insert it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
Just have to move my nipple into place. Yeah.
Feel the nipple. Or like, is he supposed to blend? Are there times where it's like he might be in a dark gay club and he might need to blend in so people don't know he's Batman, so he should probably put some nipples on. Like, is it a camouflage thing?
I don't know.
Ridiculous.
I don't know. It was really weird. And then they almost made, after Batman and Robin, like the next Schumacher one was going to be called Batman Triumphant, apparently, and it was going to have Nicolas Cage as Scarecrow, and all this was going to happen. But then Schumacher wanted to do Batman Year One, and he actually wanted to take it. He wanted to make it darker and have like Batman giving up the cape and
the graphic novel stuff.
Yeah, and Man Bat was going to be in it. Who's a personal favorite.
Man Bat, who the hell's that?
Man Bat is basically a doctor. It's just the opposite of Batman. It's a bat who is a man. It's a man-shaped bat, man-sized bat.
Okay.
That's what it is. But it's really freaky, as you can probably imagine. So unfortunately that didn't happen. Then they almost made a Robin spin-off film, but I think they just gave up on that as well. And just by this point, Batman had really gone into like a massive lull. And then they were going to do Batman Beyond, which is like the future Batman, if anyone's familiar with it.
Of course,
they're thinking about doing that, and then did a Batman Year One. Aronofsky at one point was going to do Batman Year One with Frank Miller.
was it, wasn't it? I remember that. Yeah, that was like got a lot of hype, didn't it? Because then he was coming off. Was it Requiem for a Dream or something?
Yeah, I think it would be.
It was like, wow, he could make some dark, twisted,
Batman film.
Fucked up Batman. Yeah, I remember because it was like it was going to be R-rated, right? That was what they were saying.
Yeah.
And then people were like, how can you make it R-rated studio film about a superhero? And then it's like, yeah, good point. But that was, I remember that was what was getting people excited, wasn't it? But that was, I mean, it was probably never going to happen, really, unless, like a Sin City style Batman. But I don't think people were ready for it then.
No, I mean, but funny enough, apparently Christian Bale was considered for the role of Batman at that point as well. Yeah, when they were talking about it.
It's hard to do ultra violence. That's what everyone wants, is ultra violent Batman or ultra violent Superman. But it's hard to do, you know.
Super hard.
Because now everybody needs like a fucking PG or 12 like certificate so everyone can see it. And then how are you going to do violent superhero stuff like that?
Well, as well, like the whole point of Batman is that he doesn't kill anyone.
Oh yeah, he doesn't, does he? He blatantly blatantly kills people all the time, but he tries not to. Because how, like, kicking people off like the edge of buildings and stuff, and he's like, oh shit, that one probably died, but oh well.
I tried. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, as long as you try not to kill them, that's all that counts.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, but that's his whole. So this is all leading up to Batman Begins, but they were going to do Batman versus Superman at that point, and then that died. And then J.J. Abrams had actually done a Superman script called Flyby, which
that's when Nicolas Cage was attached, right? Around that period when he was like, I am going to be Superman.
I think so. This was, I think that would have been before this, but McGee was going to direct it. Then Batman versus Superman was going to be about everyone basically being dead and Batman trying to cope with it. Josh Hartnett was going to be was going to be Superman, and
yeah.
they were going to be best mates, and Batman blaming Superman for his wife's death or something like that. And then Akiva Goldsman, who did the script for this Batman versus Superman, also wrote I Am Legend, which is why in the background of I Am Legend, there's the poster of Batman versus Superman.
Oh, that's why, because everyone always brings that up every now and then, don't they? In the Times Square, there's that poster. Oh, that's why, because he was writing the script, the screenplays. You say?
Yeah, he'd done a script for Batman versus Superman. And, he'd obviously done I Am Legend, but yeah, obviously that never happened. And then Batman Begins came out 2005, which obviously changed everything.
Yeah,
had and I always think it's funny where it has the fucking monorail or whatever, which never appears again. It's like a massive part of the first film. Then it's like, we're going to talk about the monorail anymore.
Well, didn't it get destroyed?
Well, it kind of went off on one at the end, obviously, because that's when it was a big crescendo. But the whole point of it was supposed to be the thing that his dad created or whatever. But then it's just not in the rest of the films. It just becomes less comic.
When we saw that at uni, didn't we?
Yeah.
We were like at the end of uni, last year at uni, and we were like, our lives are complete. It was like I was blown away. I still think that for me, like in terms of cinema experience, Batman Begins still gave me my kind of most impactful Batman cinema going experience. I just came out of that just going, did that just happen? They did it, the perfect Batman film. So as much as I did like Dark Knight, but yeah, that was something else at the time anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say that for me, Dark Knight was like, saw it in IMAX as well.
Yeah.
And I just remember
we saw that together, didn't we?
We might have done, yeah.
IMAX and what?
Yeah, and I just remember like after the just the bit where he's standing there with a machine gun and the truck has just toppled over, and I just remember like there was just that point in time where I was like, that's just it. Like, there's not going to be.
Can we now?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm never going to see a Batman film. Like,
but we saw it on the opening night. So I remember we booked the tickets early, and we were like saying, and when we went into the IMAX, we saw all these like geeky comic book guys wearing old Batman t-shirts and stuff, and we were like, it's going to stink in here. Remember?
No,
luckily, yeah. Luckily, it was just full of like people who look like they haven't seen the light of day for like 20 years because they've been in their mum's basement watching films for so long, and they're probably like 30 but they look 60 kind of thing, and then dusting off their old Batman t-shirts. I remember we were just like, this is gonna have such a geek funk in here when we get in there. But I was blown away by that as well. It was absolutely incredible. But I just remember Batman Begins walking out just thinking, fuck, I can't believe that whoever this guy is, Chris Nolan, they absolutely did it. But yeah, The Dark Knight was incredible as well.
Yeah, because it was at that time, like when it was like, oh, it's the guy that's done Memento. Well, I guess it's going to be. Then just wait and see what happens.
But was that whole like intelligent thriller / blockbuster all in one, which was so hard to do, to get that balance, which he did, and it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's just a shame he fucked it up in Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah,
I really hated that film. Like, I know people. Some people still like it. It's just, I mean, I heard stuff fairly recently that it was he didn't want to do it. Nolan just did not want to make.
Yeah, it felt like it. It kind of felt like it, to be honest. Especially after he'd done Inception, right? So he'd have that liberty of going off and making something completely original. With a different team, with whatever, and using still using IMAX and stuff and cameras. It felt like it was like one too many. They had amazing parts to it, but it was just, for me, it wasn't memorable compared to Batman Begins and Dark Knight. I can now think of like the sequences in my brain, but Dark Knight Rises, I can barely. I just remember all the stuff surrounding Tom Hardy and bits and bobs, but it didn't really stick in my head the way the other two did.
No, it was bad. It was really bad.
Yeah, it was just the whole Bane thing. It was kind of just over the top, just a little bit too much.
Yeah, it was way too much. And that's it. And then it takes us up to Batman versus Superman, which is summer next year, I think.
Yeah, what do you think about it then?
I I'm actually strangely looking forward to it. I mean, it's weird because I think I'm looking forward to the Batman stuff more than I always find with Superman. Is that he's just a bit fucking goody two shoes, like no matter how you fix it up.
Yeah, I think everyone's looking forward to more of the how, and because he's already made a Superman film, right, Snyder. So we know how he wants to handle Superman. We've met Superman, Henry Cavill, right? So, and I don't know, it's gonna how he's gonna handle Affleck as Batman. How is Batman gonna fit into this? And I guess a lot of people, the same as me, are hoping it's not just a Superman film plus Batman in it, and how the balance is going to lie. So it's going to be, to fit those two in, it's going to be fucking hard and it's going to be long. But the thing is about the Man of Steel, I don't know. It was just arduous to watch at times, even though I really did like some of the action sequences. Some of those fight scenes were really cool, and I really liked the way he filmed it, really gritty and everything, and really felt kind of real life stupid slash superhero fighting style. But I did like some of the film, but it was just so overbearingly long and drawn out and like epic for the sake of isn't this so epic for Man of Steel, and just those so many scenes of like emotion and soft lighting, and you see the dust fluttering in the background when they talk about what's going to happen and what it all means. There's just too much of that. So I don't know. I'm hoping he kind of reins it in a bit. But who the hell knows what's going to happen in it?
Yeah, I think
I'm looking forward to it though. I have to.
Yeah, I mean, I will look forward to it, but I don't know. I'm holding out hope. I know a lot of people are kind of naysaying about it already, but I don't know. There's still a glimmer of hope.
That's next summer, isn't it?
Yeah, next summer.
So the whole armor thing he's wearing, the Batman armor thing in the trailer, where it's like, and he's wearing the metal mask thing.
Yeah.
Where does that come from? Why is that so why has that got fanboys' balls tingling so much? Do you know?
His armor? Well, it's
It's
going to be like the in the comic book where he's just basically made super strong armor. And it's all going to be to do with kryptonite and stuff like that. And everything. I mean, I won't go into it. I don't want to ruin it too much for people.
What do you think is going to follow the comic / graphic novels of Batman vs Superman? Is that the point?
I think it will a little bit. I think it'll follow the beats with the point of it has to really, because otherwise there's no way that Superman can. There's no way that Batman can defeat Superman. To be honest. But then there's a whole thing of like Superman feeds off the sun and it's all at night. All this, so I don't know. It depends how much they want to follow or go to. Something I don't know. We'll see.
Well, man, let's watch it at the IMAX next year, next summer.
It's first night with the geeks again.
Yeah. When do you think they'll release tickets? Probably pretty soon.
Yeah. Surprised.
I mean, seriously, I remember we got those tickets early, man. I remember I booked them. They were early, right? For when we saw Dark Knight.
Was Tess there?
Yeah, it was me and Tess, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's going to be like they'll probably release tickets 3 or 4 months in advance, and they'll probably be about £100 by now.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
so what are you going to
Star Wars yet?
Huh?
They haven't released the Star Wars yet.
Yeah, I know, but that's this Christmas, isn't it? In December.
December, it's not far.
Shit, coming up. Well, I mean, there's only been one trailer, right? Has there been a second trailer for Star Wars?
There's been like 2.
Yeah. Oh, one was a teaser, though, wasn't it? So I mean, the Star Wars machine still hasn't started, and when it hits, it's going to hit fucking big.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the stuff I'm doing at work is like, I'm hearing a lot of Star Wars stuff. Put it that way.
Yeah, man, it's going to start soon. I'm looking forward to it, man. I have faith in Abrams. I think he might be able to pull it off. Yeah. I really do. As long as he doesn't get too nostalgic and try and bring back too many Star Warsy things from the past, and just treat it obviously in the same universe with similar stuff and some homages, but treat it as a new story.
Yeah.
A New Hope. I think it can work.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I haven't seen it or anything like that, but from what I've heard, it's not going to be too nostalgic whatsoever. It's gonna.
Yeah, I doubt it.
This will now establish a completely new. It will forget about the prequels, to be honest, it will basically kind of forget about the original trilogy
well, it's for
a bit, and
it's
it will
for a
just
completely new audience, isn't it? It's for like not even the next generation. It's for the next generation now. It's for people that don't even need to go back and watch Star Wars. You know,
exactly.
you're talking
That's
about teenagers and early 20s kids now. It's like they're not going to have grown up on Star Wars. They've got no attachment to Star Wars. They're not going to just turn up because they grew up with Star Wars like the other trilogy. So now it's a fresh slate.
Yeah,
So
and that's exactly
I mean, you don't have to convince these people.
They're basically treating this like a whole new franchise.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to it. What you gonna watch this week? What have you got planned? TV or movies?
I don't know.
Before we wrap up, because I got to go in a minute.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, movie wise, I was going to see Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation. Still haven't seen it.
Yes. Okay.
So I might see if I can watch that. I still need to see Maggie, which I know we were talking about. You said it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It's pretty boring.
Yeah, but I don't know. I kind of want to see some shit horror. So I might just see what's out.
I've still been looking around for shitty horror. I'm still like, I'm more tempted to watch Unfriended again than watch another shit horror, just because I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah.
But I want to find something again like that. It's like, I wish I had seen it, so I'd want to watch it fresh, and I want to watch it with people. I want to show people it and see their reactions.
Yeah.
So I might actually do that. Might actually watch that again. Yeah. There's still a few things I haven't seen. I don't know if I can bring myself to watch Sinister 2. I might this week, and I might drag myself to watch Man from U.N.C.L.E. because it's only about £4 in the cinema here, £3, £2 actually these days because of the currency. So it's pretty cheap. I've got no excuse. But I don't know. There's something about Man from U.N.C.L.E. that it just puts me off.
I can't be bothered. I'm not gonna watch that.
Another like 60s TV remake. Make it cool, kind of Guy Ritchie, funky editing, Sherlock Holmesy kind of thing. I just don't know if I can deal with it. I might see that. Yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to watching the second episode of Fear the Walking Dead tonight. So I'm gonna watch that in a bit.
Yeah. Oh, I'll tell you what. Let's talk about that next time, and I'll try and catch up with both of them. Did you see the latest review? As far as
I did. Yeah.
It wasn't my favorite.
Yeah, man, it's going downhill, isn't it? It's a classic. First season, great. Second season, not so great.
It's just like going off. I liked it when it was like, oh, hello. I mean, we've said this before, where it's like, it's kind of real in a weird way, and he's doing these little bits of this real world, rather than now where it's just like a fucking frenzy of like loads of weird shit going on.
Yeah, and the week before is the review with Forrest McNeil. The week before when he got that was quite funny. Him getting the perfect body. You saw that one, right?
Yeah.
But then it turning into that cult, and the reviews crossed over too much there. And then obviously there was that massive massacre and like the huge like blowing up his house and everything. They had some funny moments in it when he was wearing that stupid suit with the stupid teeth and his fake tan and everything. But yeah, this week didn't have anything like that, did it? It was just a bit by the numbers. It wasn't so great at all.
And I really thought like that because it was about catfishing. I really thought, this would be good, and it was like and it wasn't that good. And so.
Yeah, because that's what the same here. As soon as it said catfishing, I thought, it can be really funny. This one can go too far again, where he meets somebody and goes, and pretends to be someone else, and he has to reveal himself as who he actually is. But then bringing the ex-wife back into it again is like, oh man, really? And the producer guy, whenever he gets a producer guy involved, it's kind of like, just leave him alone. I just want Forrest to go off and do his stupid shit, like finding glory holes and seeing what happens.
I know. Also, just a producer character. It's just like,
he's a dick.
Fuck off, like.
I know, he's such a dick. Yeah. Oh well, we'll see what happens next week. But let's catch up on Fear the Walking Dead. I saw the first episode. I won't go into it now then until you've seen it. But I did like it. It's a slow burner, but the last 10 minutes is a payoff for sure. It's really good. But it is very slow. When the first 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I was like, really, dude? This is, there's establishing characters and then there's establishing the characters, but because you don't really get that dread that like, oh, what's going to happen? But that slowly builds towards the end. And it's quite a knowing nod. Like, everyone knows it's going to happen. So towards the end, you're like, fuck, this is breaking out. And so I'm already excited how they're going to cross over that with The Walking Dead. And also there's a couple of British actors in it. And the kid, there's a boy in it, like he's probably supposed to play like a 20-year-old or something. He's this dysfunctional, fucked up runaway kid who's in this like the center family of this of the drama. He really reminds me and looks like a young Johnny Depp. So see what you think. He's been in Harry Potter. I don't know. I looked him up afterwards. I don't know his name. He wasn't a big part in Harry Potter. We're like, but yeah, he really like the way he acts in it. And yeah, he really looks like a young what's he eating Gilbert Grape style Johnny Depp. So yeah, see if you agree when you watch it. But definitely watch it. And I'm gonna watch the second episode tonight. So and The Strain as well. That's usually part of my Monday night viewing. So yeah, we can chat about that stuff next week.
Cool. All right, man.
Cool.
Well,
all right.
Say goodbye to people. Check out, you can send us an email, soggypopcornteam@gmail.com, or you can follow us on Twitter. We've got Twitter now, @soggypopcorn. You can go onto our YouTube where there's the occasional video, Soggy Popcorn.
Yeah, I'm going to try and do another, when I get watch a big new release, I'm going to do another movie review in the next week or so. I was going to do it for the D Train, but seeing as I covered it quite thoroughly on this podcast, I'll wait and I'll do another video review soon.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then you can always go to the website, thewildboar.com, which has other gaming stuff and whatever. There's and you can check out the YouTube as well. I just did Tales from the Borderland last night, the first episode, which is pretty good. So if you want to watch me play that, go ahead. You can do. So that's it. So thanks everyone for listening, and we will see you again next week, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for listening. See ya.